Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I'm excited to offer a new freebie for this month. Here are some looks at what I've got going on. This is a pocket note card that you can cut the base note card for, layer it up with a pocket, and then decorate it up for either sending as a note card, or here I use them to make table decor for the Thanksgiving holiday. You can find this freebie over on my blog. All the links will be down below. Last week I posted this video which detailed my project process for creating these pockets. This is a close-up look at what it just looks like as the cut file by itself. There's the pocket layer that you can then glue on to the note card layer to create your pocket. I did detail up this with adding some hand stitching into those embossed areas, which by the way are optional. You can omit those when you are cutting these out. And I will say that this video does cover a little bit of tip if your note cards aren't wanting to stand up straight and they kind of flatten themselves out. So be sure to check out that video and that tip. For now, I'm going to give you some information on how to use these on the Cricut and the Silhouette if you are not familiar with using third-party cut files on those systems. I will leave timestamps here on the screen so you can jump to the machine that is most relevant to you. And then I will have a few words in closing at the end, so I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. So I want to give you a look at how to use this file in Cricut. Let's go ahead and load up this file. So if I hit the upload button, oh, I was already in there. That brings me to this space. I can upload an image, browse my files. It's got a terrible name right now, but that is what it's called. So I can open that up. I will continue. You can save various information about it over here. I'm going to skip that step since I've done this multiple times. And when it comes in, it looks kind of like a mess. It's just a big blob. But what you need to do is come over to this group information, click the drop down, and then we're going to look at the various parts and pieces to this. So the first step of that is to ungroup. And now we have this piece separated out from this piece. And in fact, if you notice, this piece right here, the card base, actually consists of multiple layers. So we're going to go ahead and ungroup that as well. And then we can drag these pieces apart. Now, this layer here, which I will go ahead and turn another color for you, is a larger layer that will leave a mat around the edge of your pocket, except at the top of the pocket. This layer will glue your pocket on edge to edge with no mat. And if we line these up, I'm going to rotate this, and if we line these up, you can see what I mean. The fold will be along this line, and this leaves a narrow border edge around. All right, now we need to look at this pocket itself because it is also listed here as multiple layers. So we are going to ungroup that. And look, we have another nested set of layers. We want to be careful and not ungroup that set yet, because if I move this around, oh, I had everything selected. I just want to select the pocket itself. If I move this around, we have got, let me change the color. We have got these other layers going on. Right now, this is set to be cut, but if I change it to one of these other options like scoring, which is what I did on my project, you can now see the line form has changed. If we go ahead and make our pocket a different color again, we can take this line form and this pocket and we can align them so that they are perfectly aligned. And we want the pocket piece to arrange to the back. All right, so now you can actually see what the pocket will look like when you create it. When you go to create it, decide if you want to cut all the pieces. You could actually go ahead and turn off the details on the pocket if you just want a piece of paper. You could turn them back on. I would not want this layer, so I would shut that off. Now, the next step is very important. If you do want this embossed layer on here, you need to select all of these pieces and you need to hit the attach button. That is going to turn it back into one entire piece, specifically when it goes to the make mat. And I don't have my machine plugged in right now, so it won't take us completely through all the steps. But here on my make mat, you can see all of the layers stay stacked up. In a normal cut, it will separate all those layers onto various pieces of the mat. And that gets really complicated when some of your layers are actually embossing layers and not cut layers. So I'm going to cancel back out of there. That is the basic overview on how to use this file in the Cricut. All right, I have already opened the file here in Silhouette Studio, and you can see that everything is kind of grouped together like it was over in the Cricut. So we need to come first to this pane over here called the Layers panel. And you can see that the whole thing is in one group. So we need to ungroup these things. So the first step to that is to select just the group itself. We're going to go up to the Object menu and we're going to do Ungroup. And notice there is a keyboard shortcut. I should say here that I am working in Silhouette Studio version 45812. And I do have the designer version, which allows me to open SVG files. However, I will save this as a Silhouette native file for you, because if you don't have designer, you can use the native file format to go ahead and open this up. So now we've got our object and we have ungrouped it. We're gonna, there, now we have ungrouped it. And then we're gonna continue to ungroup like we did previously. So this is the card layer, object, ungroup. And now we have the two separate sizes of cards. What I didn't mention before is that the larger size has this flattened tip to it, which allows it to stand up better on the table. The smaller size currently does not have that flattened tip, so that may be a reason to choose one over the other. And if you're just making these to send as a card in the mail, then you don't have to worry about that. For this layer, or this group over here, we need to do the same thing. We're going to ungroup it. And then let's check and see what layers we've got. Okay, we've got the main pocket cut, and then we have all of the detailed decoration. I'm going to leave the detailed decoration as a single group so that we can do the next step. I'm going to come over here to this icon, which is the lines panel, the line style panel, I should specifically say. And we are going to choose a different line style. I'm going to go ahead and choose this dashed line, which should actually cut small stitch lines into the paper, which I think is a nicer option than doing something like a regular deboss. However, I'm also going to use this color panel to change this line color to something different, so that I can see, let's see, that one is not super visible. How about bright red? That's better. So that I can see that it is different than this style here. Now, if I wanted to do something different with this instead of doing dashed cut lines, there are other options in here. And when we get to the tool selection, we may be able to change this up again. Let's leave it at that for now. I'm going to select those layers, and then I'm going to realign them just because I moved them out of the way. This is the alignment, the little target symbol there, which will perfectly recenter everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my panel section, and I am going to group those items back together. Now, if we're ready to send it, it will open up our send panel. Now, I am not connected to my machine right now, and you can see that it says unavailable. If you click on this lines panel, you can see that those lines that we turned red are currently set to cut, But we could also score them. And I've never used this sketch option, so I'm not quite sure what that would do. But we could definitely score them or cut them, and then we would have information on changing the tools. I forgot to ungroup these. However, all of the lines in black will be cut lines, and anything that I want to be scored instead, I'm going to use the same color for and then change this setting to a score setting. And that will tell the machine to do everything with that setting as is. All right, that is a quick overview on how to use these files both in Silhouette and in Cricut. If you have any questions, if I missed something, if I made a mistake somewhere, please do drop me a note and I'll be sure to send you a correction and then post corrections in the comments of this video so that anyone using this resource can get the correct information. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with more crafty videos. Until then, have an artful day.